Look, before we start this, I need y'all to know just how emotionally unprepared I am if this movie flops. Just straight out the get. Wow, straight out the gate. I am emotionally unprepared if the Superman by James Gunn movie flops. And I say that because Superman is my boy. I talk about it all the time. Superman is my favorite character of all time. Um, and there's so much writing on this movie. So much. I talked about in another video about my opinions in terms of James Gunn just had a specific niche of characters, and my own opinions when it comes to the DC universe already being established. I have my concerns about that instead of actually building from the ground up. I get it. Not everything needs to be the MCU. And then for the most people who are going to go see these movies, we know who these characters are. And I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of doing a year two type storyline, right? It worked for Robert Pattinson's Batman very well because we don't need to see Martha and, Thomas die again. We don't need to see Krypton explode every single time. We don't need to see the Kents finding Clark, right? These are things that we know because they're part of the mythos. They're a part of just superheroes in general. We don't really need to rehash those over again. So I'm okay with the idea of, all right, let's go ahead and skip a year or two. What I don't like is the idea that Superman is the last one to show up. That's something that I've talked about extensively when it comes to Superman. And I'm saying all this before I watch the trailer. That's fine. But when the comics themselves talk about the fact that Superman is to use a term from Spider-Verse, the canon event that kicks off the DC multiverse. Every world basically had a Superman origin story in a sense that leads to all the other superheroes showing up. That was the whole point of Doomsday Clock and what Dr. Manhattan understood about Superman's character and how the timeline moves around Superman showing up on Earth first. That is a catalyst for everything else happening after that. So I generally don't like it when writers want to do this whole idea of Superman being last. That, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why the DCEU failed. If they had left Man of Steel as the starting point, and then everybody else was a reaction to Man of Steel, would have been fine. But they left Man of Steel as Superman's the last one to show up, and Wonder Woman's been around since World War, one or two. Batman's been around for 30, 40 years, and all the Robins are out there somewhere. Like that was one of the issues I had with the DCEU was Superman was the last to show up, and so it to me lost the flavor in why this was so shocking when all these other characters already existed and all these other things were happening. And so they still try to use Superman showing up as the catalyst to all the craziness going faster at that point, but it wasn't the same, right? So I'm hesitant about this movie. I want it to do well. The trailer dropped today, so we're gonna go ahead and watch the trailer. But again, I'm hesitant, and that's okay. I am going to go see it. I am going to go support it in theaters. I am going to be there opening night. That being said, though, like I'm being very careful about what my expectations for this movie, and I hope it's the greatest thing ever. I really do. I honestly do. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's watch the trailer.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah,
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently,
Okay.
you've come under a
All right. David Cornsweet. There was that subtle change. There was that subtle change from Clark to Superman. If you didn't see it, then you're not a Superman fan, and I apologize. But that was one of the things that made Christopher Reeves such a great Superman when he did it, was that scene where he's trying to tell Lois, he takes off his glasses and he straightens himself up, and he prepared, his voice changes, and then he changes his mind, puts his glasses back on, he slumps back down. Like, David Cornsweet just basically did that in that moment when he was talking to Lois, and then when she said Superman, and he changes it to Miss Lane. I love that. All right, look, again, I'm being cautiously optimistic about this movie, but that was good. I can't deny that. I'm sorry, that was good. I'll go back again. Hold on.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Oh God, that's so good.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might.
A lot of fire,
it's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
will cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the
And,
world.
and doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices, your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
Okay. That looks so good. It looks so good. But y'all, we've had trailers. We've had trailers that have fooled us before. I don't. I want. Look, Superman. It's funny I'm feeling this way because Superman stands for hope. That is the whole purpose of his character, and I am trying to be hopeful that James Gunn has just written a beautiful story that's going to kick off the DC universe. DCCU? DCU? I don't know what they're calling it. It looks good. That argument between him and Lois at the beginning, like, I love that because that's something that they've been trying to show more in the comics just in general. Superman's frustrations of trying to do the right thing and everyone always questioning him, which unfortunately, like, as much people want to say, get your politics out of my comics, that's literally what comics have always been about, is showing the frustrations of the real world in a fantastical way, in a way that we wish that we could deal with them. And a large part of what's going on, at least in America right now, is other people want to do good. Other people want to do the right thing. Other people want to treat people as human beings and see every life as valuable. As Superman said, people were going to die, but you didn't delegate. You didn't consult. You didn't stop to talk to the president first, which when they said that, they pointed to Lex. Is Lex president right now? Are we already doing President Luthor storyline? That'd be interesting if they go direct that route. Huh. But yeah, Lois said, "Did you consult the president?" And immediately went to Lex. So that's interesting. If they go the President Lex route already, so we'll see. But God, it looks good. I love the fact also Mercy is like some like nanotech android, right? I can't remember whether or not Mercy being part robot was because of the Justice League TV show or the Superman the animated series TV show, or if that was already established in comics. I think that was one of those changes they added later. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. Please don't come for me. I can do research on it later. But I really like the aesthetic of her being all black and it's like black nanobots and stuff like that. So really like that. Um, and I like the fact that we're going to see Superman having power and using that power to protect people. And of course, people want to question that because that's always been Superman's core identity. His issue with Lex is you can't have all this power and want to just help. And again, that's why I love that character so much because that is all he wants to do. All he wants to do is help. And then just Mama Kent telling him she shined his boots and that she would go get them for him. I love that. It's there's so much to love in this trailer and in the last trailers. Crypto. I mean, there's so much to love. But I'm still also very worried because I hate to say it, we've had trailers that have looked good and then the movie was not. I'm not saying that's what's going to be. I'm just being very cautious about going in this movie. But I have so much optimistic hope that this is going to turn out well. It looks good. That's all I say. Anyway, Superman was originally called Superman Legacy, so I'm kind of excited. It's just Superman now. So, but are you planning on going to see it? Are you going to go see it opening night? Are you cautious like I am? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, I am a coming out there. Thank y'all for getting caught up with me on my favorite media, including with the fact that this is my favorite character. God save the same. I will catch up with y'all later. Love y'all. Peace. Oh, oh, oh.